Hello, Simpson families. If you were unable to attend our recent Meet the Principal event, went ahead and did this voiceover of the presentation given that night. The intent of that evening was not only to introduce myself, but then to share some of my values as an educational leader and how I came to those values, and then how those values drive decision making as a school leader. The staff, of course, wants to know how do you make decisions, but I think in the spirit of transparency, we want parents to know what I value most, what's most important to me, so that when decisions are made, you know where those decisions are coming from. Of course, we had a Q&A session that evening, which we won't be able to do here, but if you ever have any questions or concerns, reach out to me directly through the Simpson main phone line or my email, which is on the next slide. As I mentioned, that email, my email is donald.stanley. While I go by Cory, my middle name, my legal first name is Donald. So my email is donald.stanley@cobbk12.org. Reach out to me anytime. We are coming into my 24th year in Cobb County, which is hard to believe. 9 years as a classroom teacher, teaching middle school social studies and reading, 9 years as an assistant principal in different Cobb County schools. And this will be my 6th year as a principal in Cobb in my second school at which I am serving as the principal. As I mentioned, I am going into my 24th year in Cobb County, but not originally from Cobb County or from Georgia at all. I'm actually from a small town in northern Indiana called LaPorte. It's right there on the map, very near Chicago. That's where I grew up. But the story to follow 24 years ago brought me to Cobb County, and I've been here ever since. I can see a picture of me here as a kid with my dad there on Lake Michigan. You saw on the map, it's right across the lake from Chicago. If the camera panned to the left, you'd be able to see the city over that direction. And the reason I share this is because, as I mentioned at the beginning, this presentation is really about my values as a school leader. And part of that started with me as a kid. Obviously, I have parents, very hardworking parents, so the work ethic I got came from them, of course. But the biggest impact on me as a school leader happened when I was in middle school. Here I am in middle school in my football uniform, and it was about this time in 6th grade when you get to choose. Do you join band, chorus, or orchestra? That I made a decision and met a person that would change my life's path and still impacts decisions that I make as a school leader now. And that was my band director, not from a family of musicians, a family of music lovers for sure, but not musicians. But I decided to play trumpet in 6th grade, which your 6th grader will have the option to do band, chorus, orchestra. Lots of opportunities coming up to be presented that you will learn about as they decide that for their year. But this director saw something in me, put me under his wing, and really changed my life path. That opened up a ton of doors for me. I was able to travel the country playing music, meeting people from all over the world through music. It opened up doors as far as college. I was the first person to leave my hometown and my family to go to college, and we'll get to that on the next slide. But that leads to my first and most important value as a school leader. So, my first and most important value to me as a school leader is that the teacher in the classroom is the difference maker. That teacher, my middle school band director, really changed my life path. And over my career in education, it's grown only stronger my belief that if a student is having an amazing experience in a classroom, it's because of that teacher. And if a student is having an awful experience in the classroom, it's also because of that teacher. We don't have to worry about the latter of those two scenarios because we have an amazing staff at Simpson. But my selection, induction, and retention of staff, the best teachers, is the most important thing I do as a school leader. And as we grow as a Simpson team, it will because our teachers get even better than they already are. So we focus a lot on making sure we are the best at everything that we do, instructionally, behaviorally, relationship wise, because that teacher in the classroom is the difference maker. So I did mention going away from home to go to college. I didn't go far, about 3 hours down the road to Indiana University in Bloomington. Go Hoosiers! And while I was there, I started in the music school, later switching to the School of Education. Um, I met someone from Cobb County. I met a girl from Cobb County. We dated through college, and she actually went to Lassiter High School. And as I was approaching student teaching, getting ready for graduation, and thinking about finding a teaching position, she of course recommended, look in Cobb County. It's a great school district, and had visited throughout college, and I really liked the area. So I did. I came down my spring break of my senior year in 2002 and applied for a job, and was thinking I was going to be a high school teacher, but could not find a high school job at that time, and got a job at Dickerson Middle School, my first teaching job. And as I said, coming into my 24th year now, 23 behind me. They have all been in middle school. So that was also an important decision. Now, of course, I took that job at Dickerson, and like 2 weeks later, the young lady and I split up. And so, not a tragic ending, though. We'll get to that. But I ended up moving here and starting my career at Dickerson Middle School, teaching 8th grade social studies and 7th grade reading that year in 2002. So that began the journey in education. And I did spend 9 years as a teacher at Dickerson, teaching 8th grade social studies, 7th grade reading over those years. And you learn a lot in those early years. And that leads to my second value. So I was a baby teacher, right, coming right out of college. Didn't really know anybody. And I had another group of teachers kind of put me under their wing those early years. There's my mother's, many of them still, and showed me the way. And they built relationships with me, taught me the importance of those teacher to teacher relationships. And over those 9 years, I really did learn a lot of things about teaching, and that the importance of relationships with students, right? Connecting with the student as an individual, not just through the content, getting to know them. They're always going to do more for you if you have a positive relationship with them. And then also you learn that the relationship with parents is incredibly important. And you're hearing that word over and over. And that leads to my second value as an educational leader. So second value would be, it's all about relationships, and that's between teacher and student, student and teacher to teacher within our building, and then between the parent and the student, and the parent and the staff, and all those relationships. If we approach those with an attitude of let's work together to be the best, let's be positive about this, assume positive intentions, it's going to make everything in the world run smoother. So as I make decisions, as we communicate to you, that highlights my second value as a leader, that it's all about relationships. During those 9 years of this journey, the story that began with sort of a sad beginning, a breakup, and a move to another state, it all worked out. I ended up meeting my amazing wife here. There's Sherry. We met long ago. We live right in Simpson's backyard, so right around the corner. It's really nice to be back in my home neighborhood. So no tragic ending. And also during those early years, I started to see the impact that I could have as a teacher on maybe beyond my classroom as a teacher leader. And I started thinking, I'd like to be a school leader and help others become great at building relationships and teaching and all the things that we do. So I went ahead and went to Kennesaw State, got my leadership graduate degree, and then became assistant principal at the same school I was at. I was AP at Dickerson for 5 years. I then had the opportunity, to expand my experience base to move to J.J. Daniel. I was an assistant principal there for 4 years, which is great now that I'm at Simpson, because Daniel feeds Sprayberry 100%. So I've got that Lassiter connection in the journey. I've got that Sprayberry connection in the journey, and now we're feeding both. And as a school leader, as an AP, people come to you with all the things. Got to give credit to Dr. Hogan and Ms. Childress. Like they get all the things from the staff, from the parents, from the students. They get all the questions, and you end up just helping people help themselves, or giving them tools. Teaching a man to fish is the old adage. And during that time, I really started to solidify my third value as an educational leader. And that continued in my time on my next step, which is the last 5 years where I've been principal at McClure. And that third value is coming up here on the next slide, because as a school leader, you are helping people help themselves. And that's parents, students, teacher, to get better at what we are all doing for and with students. So on to the next slide, value number 3. Third value, we are the help. People come to you all the time and say, that child needs help, or my child needs help, or a student comes to you and says, I need help. Well, that's us. That's we. And by that we, I mean, of course, the school leaders at Simpson, the teachers and staff at Simpson, but I also mean you as parents. This is a team effort. We are the helps. And we look at a situation and something isn't working. We're having a bad experience, something's going wrong. We're going to look at each other and go, okay, what are we going to do? Because we are the help, and Cobb County School District is the help. So as we make decisions, it's always about being solution oriented, being data driven, and what do we have to do to help us, help you, help our students help themselves. So that brings us to this point of the journey. Obviously, been in East Cobb as a teacher administrator, right in the middle of Cobb at Daniel, Central Cobb there, and then all the way out in West Cobb the last 5 years as a principal at McClure. And that's a great school. We called ourselves the best in the West because it is the best middle school in West Cobb. So it wasn't going to leave that position for just anywhere. But the opportunity came up, got a phone call. Would you be interested? And of course, I've got Sprayberry in my background. I've got Lassiter in my history. And this is much closer to our own neighborhoods. Feel like I can have an impact on our own community. So that was a no-brainer. I wasn't going to leave that school for just anywhere. Simpson is an incredible opportunity. I'm thrilled to see what we can do together now at Simpson. So now you know my values, sort of my core beliefs as a school leader, and that drives how I make decisions. And it's really simple, one, two, three. When situations come up with our staff, with our parents, I always um, do what's best for students. What is best for the student in that situation? That doesn't mean that we're always going to agree, but we as a team at Simpson are always going to make that priority number one. And after that, it's what's best for teachers. As the superintendent says, there's two kinds of employees in Cobb County. There are teachers and those that support they who teach, and that's everybody else. So it's always for me, if my core value is the teacher is the difference maker, then we want to do what's best for teachers. Students first, then teachers. And the third thing is, how do we celebrate? You're going to see a lot of recognition, a lot of celebration. We are a PBIS school. We say at Simpson, Eagles soar. They are successful, they are observant, they are accountable, and they are responsible, SOAR. So we'll do a lot of celebrating of success, both of our students and our community, but as well of our staff and our teachers. So my vision for Simpson is the best of the best. I said before, when I was at McClure, we said we were best in the West. Well, all the best schools are in East Cobb. We know that, but my vision for Simpson is to be the best of the best. And that's in everything that we do. That's in our instruction. That's in our behavior management, our student recognition, um, the way we recognize students, our celebration. Also in our facilities, and we've got a little bit of work to do. Simpson is an older building. We're going to make it the best of the best. The foundation is going to help us do that. So if you haven't partnered with the foundation, be sure you do that. And then really important thing in our communication. Every Sunday, you'll get a communication from me, and I'll detail that in a little bit. But somebody asked me recently, I think it was our front office meeting as we were getting to know each other. We shared, what's your pet peeve in your work environment? And mine is average. Like, I can't stand average anything. Like, don't waste your time being average. So you'll hear this from me, and the students will hear it, is that we just don't do average at Simpson. If we're going to do it, it's going to be excellence 100% of the way. And that's the way we are going to be and stay the best of the best. So the other evening when we did the meet the principal night, after I shared values, decision making, kind of vision, I talked to parents a little bit about middle school. Middle school is a really challenging time. I'm incredibly passionate about middle school. There's a reason I got a job in middle school and never left. I love it. I really believe it's our last chance to save students. If students are not on the right path when they transition from 8th to 9th grade, turning that corner and getting on the right path is incredibly hard. I would not say impossible, but it's much more challenging. So my vision as a school leader is that we do it to get them ready before they leave 8th grade, whatever it takes. But middle school is a trying time. You know this. I don't know that any of us, given the opportunity to travel backwards, would choose 11, 12, 13, 14 as the ages that we would want to relive. I like this phrase here. Um, I'll just let you read it. There are a lot of changes taking place, right? physical changes, social changes, emotional changes. Adolescence is tough. So the good news is this is not anyone at Simpson's first time working with a sixth, seventh, or eighth grader. It may be yours, but we've got a wealth of experience in our building, and we will guide you through this process. So I'm going to share with you a couple of bits of advice in regard to these coming years in middle school. It's a critical time. Middle school is a critical time. I would argue that other than infancy, other than like when you're an infant, there is no time in your life that you need adults more than middle school. Um, all the things. You need coaching, you need encouragement, you need guidance, you need somebody to be reasonable and pull you aside and teach you how to do the things. We're trying to teach elementary students during these years how to be and act like an adult, how to be an adult. Now, they're not an adult when they leave us, but they're getting there. They're getting there. We are putting them on the path to adulthood. So these years are important. A lot of times we get to middle school and we go, oh, they've already been in K through 5, 6 years, sometimes preschool, 7 years. They know school, they know what to do. They're fine. They'll take care of themselves. They will not. They need us more in these years than they have the last couple, and then they will the next few. So let's really team up. That's the We Are the Help value that I have. We're going to team up as a school and parents to make sure that we are providing that guidance, providing that structure, providing that feedback during their years at Simpson. So I mentioned the change, right? The dynamic change in middle school, constantly changing. There's a story I like to use that in elementary school, your child is a dog. They're a puppy. Like you walk into the school and they're like, yeah, super excited, just like your dog. When you get home, like, love you, mom, dad. Oh my God, that's my mom. Meet my friends. Can't wait. And then at sometime in middle school, your dog turns into a cat, and you're gonna walk into a room or you're gonna walk into school, and your kid's gonna go like, oh my God, it's my mom. Oh, it's my dad. Good news. At some time in high school, you're going to get your dog back. But yeah, this is a challenging. And they're going to start telling you that they are already grown. I know how to do everything. And I've got this quote I love, which is, I'm not young enough to know everything. They're going to tell you they are grown. They are not. So they need close monitoring. And we'll talk about phones and access to their peers and all that. But yeah, everything needs to be checked because we are the help. And they need help during these years. So, some recommendations based on all that I've said previously. The first thing is they do not need a smartphone. No, I understand for safety reasons, you wanting them to have a cell phone, and they're going to be asking. They're going to tell you they need one. I have to have one. Everybody else has one. All my friends have the newest iPhone 27 or whatever it is at this time. They're going to tell you they have to have it. They do not. The other thing is have you ever seen the Lost and Found at a middle school? There's thousands of dollars of clothing and things from Patagonia and North Face in the bin, like at the end of the first day of school. Don't send your 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old to school with 1,000 other 11, 12, 13, 14-year-olds with a $1,200 phone. It's just not necessary. Get them a flip phone, or I can call home, get them minimal access. I'm really not joking about that. I said that at the parent night, and I think people thought that was a joke. That's not a joke. They're just not ready for that kind of untethered access to their peers. Like imagine having a slumber party at your house with 300 students. You put them all down in the basement, and then you just let them go, and you don't watch what they're doing. That's what a smartphone does. It gives untethered access, anonymous access, things that students would never say to each other's face or even say out loud in front of another person. They will post or they will say through that phone because they're just not ready for that sort of access. Let's be realistic. There's adults that aren't ready to handle that. So that's my advice on phones. Our policy at Simpson will be you can have it, but it's got to be in your backpack. Period. Not your pocket. Not your purse. It's got to be in your bag. And we don't want to see it. You can use it only with explicit teacher permission. So if there's something going on, ask an adult. And they may say not right now, but if there's something going on and they need to text somebody, they need to, hey, can I call my mom? Yeah, give me a minute. With teacher permission, they can, but our policy is going to be you can have it. It's got to be in your bag. The other thing is recommendations. They need supervision, just like on their phone. Check behind them. They're going to tell you I don't have Snapchat or I only have this one account, and then they have 3 accounts. I'm not painting them to be awful this is just reality of 11, 12, 13, 14-year-olds in my experience. And so they need you to watch, and we're going to supervise at school. That's one of those things. We always got to have eyes on them, ears on them, and then also check behind them. The old quote, trust but verify, that's real important for middle school students. Yeah, I trust you, but I'm also gonna check, make sure it's done. Yeah, you did your homework, let me see it. And you turn that assignment in, let me take a look at it. Maybe we could go back and make that a little bit better than it already is. So yes, while they are acting grown and getting grown and maturing drastically, right? They're going to come in to Simpson as a sixth grader wearing like a SpongeBob shirt or a Moana shirt, and then they're going to leave, and the boys have facial hair, right? And they're taller than me. So there's a dynamic change. They're going to start looking grown, acting grown. But again, we're always going to check behind them. We're going to trust them until they give us a reason not to. We are going to trust them, but then we're going to verify to make sure they're doing the right thing. And that's how we're going to handle our business at Simpson, and my recommendation to you at home. The last thing I shared on that Meet the Principal event was about communication. Every Sunday at 7 o'clock, you will get a phone call. It will be me. That's every Sunday that there's something at Simpson the next week, right? You're going to get that call. It's going to be a 3-minute overview of the highlights of what's coming up. You're also going to get at that same time through CTLS, which will also come to your email if your email is up to date, our weekly newsletter. And I'll have links to all the things. So that's the phone calls, the overview. The newsletter is all the details from what's going on instructionally, what's going on operationally in our building, from our PTSA, from our foundation, from our feeder schools, from Shrewsbury and Lassiter, and from the community. It'll all be in there. So while I don't expect that every parent's going to read that Eagle update every week, word for word, we want you to know that it's in there. If you're wondering about something, it's going to be in there every Sunday. We're going to try to give you 2 weeks notice on just about everything. That's our standard. We're not always going to bat 1,000 on that, but we're going to be real close. So we want you to know, listen to the phone call. If something jumps out, hey, let me go check the Eagle update and find that link so I can get that form completed, so I can take care of that task, so I can remind my student of those things. Communication is going to be a strength for us at Simpson. If you don't hear from us, this is the other thing, the rumor mill. There are a lot of pages out there. There's the unofficial Cobb page, the unofficial Simpson page. Of course, we've got our own narrative on our website. If you don't hear from us, there is really nothing to hear. And you're welcome to reach out and ask questions, but we want you to trust that every Sunday you're going to get the news, you're going to get the updates, you're going to get so used to that communication that this will, in hindsight, you'll go, yeah, that's true. A year from now, you go, if we don't hear, there's nothing going on. But no, that's our approach to be proactive in our communication. So that's the overview, everything we covered that evening. We then asked if anybody had any questions. Obviously, in this setting, we can't do that. But of course, as I mentioned, email me anytime. Reach out to our front office at our main line. Leave me a voicemail if I'm not there. But we're going to be transparent with our communication. And then we're going to work diligently to be amazing every day in partnership with you, as we are the help for our students. So hopefully that overview gives you some perspective on me as a school leader and how I'm going to make decisions for students with students at Simpson. And again, thank you for taking time to watch this. Reach out to me anytime. I'm excited to see what we can do to be the best of the best this year and beyond at Simpson.